Hey, welcome to my lunch hour. Stan, the Energy Man here. Stan Osterman from the Hawaii Center for Advanced Transportation Technologies. And hey, I need to really say I'm sorry for last Friday. It was a nice Veterans Day, and I forgot it was a holiday. And I was off in France, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I didn't have anybody lined up to take my place on a holiday, so that was a really big faux pas on my part, speaking of French. But I had a great time. I was actually invited, thanks to ThinkTech. I really have to send a big thanks out to ThinkTech. I was given the opportunity to talk to an academic group that was discussing the implications of social change and technology and how people are resistant to taking on new technology, especially when it's kind of high tech and scientific-y, and they don't want to try it. And so my job was to talk about what was going on in Hawaii with hydrogen and what we're doing to get Hawaii's economy going on hydrogen. And my co-presenter was from Denmark, and she was doing a presentation on how Denmark already has all their stations stood up, and they have vehicles, both Hyundai and Toyota Mirais, on the ground and running. And they can go and get hydrogen anywhere within 20 minutes of where they're at. It's really well set up. Wow. So I brought back some pictures. There's a great one on the street corners in Paris. Nice, this is right off of Champs-Élysées. You can actually drive these things if you have about 60 euros that you want to drop. They'll let you spin it around the block. They had a couple Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff. So pretty slick little. They're not battery powered. So sorry, they're gas guzzlers. But they're really slick, and a little bit of background there. But the conference was 3 days long, and was in Tours, France, which is about an hour south of Paris. And I got to spend 3 days there doing presentations, talking about hydrogen and what we do in Hawaii, and spreading a little aloha in France. So merci beaucoup to David and Maureen and all the folks that helped set that up, and also to Jay Fidel from ThinkTech, because guess where they found me for a speaker? Watching ThinkTech. So I really owe it to ThinkTech for a great time in France, and a great opportunity to spread the word of what we do in Hawaii, in Europe, which is kind of interesting, because what we're going to talk about today is what's coming from Europe that could be part of Hawaii. And so my guests today are John McEnroe, the famous tennis player. Wait a minute, no, he's not the famous tennis player, but he doesn't even look like the famous tennis player. John McEnroe from Smartflower Pacific, and I had to write that down because he's had a quick change there that I didn't catch on earlier. But they have a really neat piece of equipment that they're going to start bringing into the U.S. and to Hawaii, and we're going to talk about that today. So John, thanks for being here, and Van.
Thanks for allowing us to be in your show.
Van's the head electrician over there at Smartflower, and we're going to talk a little bit about your product. But first of all, what got you into doing renewable energy and kind of focusing on doing what you do with Smartflower?
Well, when you see the changes that are happening to our world because of us as human beings, there's no one person that's going to make a difference when you look at all this carbon emissions, global warming, all of that. So if we are able to educate people about the use of energy, consumption, how it's stored, how it's produced, I figure we're able to make a difference, not as an individual, but as a team effort, as mankind and society. We're able to make a difference, hopefully, and save the planet. We have young children, both of us, and we want the world to be it is today, 20, 30 years from now when they're older, growing up at our age.
Yeah, that's a pretty universal desire. My little baby's 35 years old now, so he's already a grown man and on his own looking for his kids.
There you go.
I'm looking at the next generation after that. But how about you, Van? What got you into doing things with Smartflower?
Well, I think the reason why it really perked my interest is simply because it's my job. It's what I do. It's my bread and butter. Solar has become on the forefront of all activity on the electrical field. It is not only just a word of mouth now. It is literally on almost every single roof that you see. I mean, maybe like 25% or whatever. Everywhere you go, you see it.
So especially here in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize that we're way ahead of the power curve compared to most communities in the world in terms of solar.
Yep.
Most solar per capita.
Right. So as an electrical person, a guy who deals with Hawaiian Electric and electricity all the time, we talk a lot about the grid, and we talk about the duck curve that HECO talks about when they have a lot of demand, and they don't have this, and they've got to always
Is
be
that what you
following
guys call it, the duck curve?
That's what they call it.
Oh,
Their,
okay.
their peaks and valleys, they have to flow, they follow all day
Okay.
long, and load following, and how when you get so much solar in the middle of the day, they can't handle it all, so they got to curtail it, and then at night, they need the power, but it's not there, you know,
Right.
from the solar, so
Right.
where do you get it, how do you store it?
Right.
So as we start to go towards more renewables, some more solar and maybe some more wind, you know, we have a storage issue. So
Yep.
what you guys have got actually takes care of both. So would you say that your product is kind of like a off the grid solution, or
It is
complementary to
it
off
is
the
not
grid?
only off the grid, but it is the cutting edge technology of the modern stuff that's going to come out in the future. It is moving closer to being independent, personally independent on your property, and moving each and every single person closer to that goal, and not relying upon any one source grid for electricity. But now you can become your own source. You can become your own provider with cutting edge technology like what we have with the Smartflower.
Okay. So what are some of the things, because what we're doing actually is we're trying to tease everybody. We're not going to show you this thing until a little bit later and make you really think about it. But what are some of the things that are unique to your system that help it be more efficient, number one, and be more useful as a standalone component?
Well, we have what they call smart features. We have a smart tracking, we have a dual axis tracking system, which allows it to track the sun at a perpendicular 90-degree angle, sun up to sundown throughout the day, storing all excess energy internally in the base of the unit in the batteries we have there. Another thing we have is smart cleaning. At the end of each blade, there's brush bristles that open and close throughout the day, and as they open and close, they clean any dust, dirt, and debris off the surface of the panels, in turn improving efficiency. Another thing we have is a smart cooling. Unlike a traditional rooftop system where you're facing 30 degrees south and you have that space of dead air between the panel and the surface of the roof, which create heats, in turn reducing efficiency. The Smartflower has open face backing, so air is able to pass freely through the back, keeping the panels cooler, in turn improving efficiency.
Way better efficiency, 40%.
So the average, technically, are these like monocrystalline or?
Yes, sir.
Polycrystalline? Okay.
Monocrystalline panels.
It's mono.
Okay, and then because you're not getting that reflective heat or that trapped heat behind the panels, they're cooler, so they're more
Yes.
efficient because they're cooler. So
Yes,
you're
sir.
kind of getting the high production cells, and you've got the air gap in there and the airflow that keeps them cool, and that gets your efficiency close to 40%, you say?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
well,
sir.
And the tracking.
Well, the tracking.
Tracking as well, the dual axis tracking is a big part of that.
Okay, so these are really basically basic solar cells. They're not like, you know, some of the tracking systems, they use specific cells that actually focus the energy, and they can get even more than 40% if I'm not mistaken, but if they're not exactly aligned, you get really nothing.
Oh yes.
So you're either getting a bunch or you're getting nothing.
Yes.
But you're using a more conventional array,
Right.
but really focusing on the direct perpendicular hit.
90
Yes,
degree
what
to
we
the
do
sun.
is,
Correct.
upon commissioning of the unit during installation, we input the correct parameters for your location throughout the world, and the unit finds the sun, tracks it perpendicular, follows it morning till night. Once the first commissioning is done, that's it. You never have to touch the unit again.
And that's done with active GPS, or once it's set, it's programmed into a computer?
It's set, it's programmed into the unit. There's an algorithm built into the unit itself that allows it to follow the sun anywhere in the world, as long as you place the unit correctly within the parameters that the manufacturer has specified.
So once you've located it and it's got its geolocation set,
sir.
it's independent.
Yes,
You don't
sir.
have to be talking to GPS or
No.
anything. Once it's set, it's got a logarithm in there that tracks. And I mean, I used to do this in the military as a navigator, so a lot of our navigation stuff, you know, we did the same thing. Once we knew the spot, we could disconnect from GPS and we could relate to everything else. So
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah.
how yours works. That's
Yes,
great.
sir.
Because then if you, I mean, it makes it a simpler system. You have
Very
less,
much
less
so.
places to fail.
Yeah.
And then if you have a failure, it's in that computer, you just reboot the computer or fix it and you're back online. But once you're located, you're all set.
Yes, sir.
Oh, pretty cool, pretty cool. And so how many, this came from where? I mean, who's making this?
This is an Austrian product. Smartflower is a company out of Austria. It was started 5 years ago. Alex Swatek designed the product, and now it's in mainstream Europe, Middle East, and Asia. I was lucky enough to be the first dealer in the USA and have exclusivity in the state of Hawaii. And now there's another partner company that we joined. It's Smartflower North America, who's ran by Mr. Jim Gordon on the East Coast in Boston. So together, he and I are bringing the Smartflower to the United States. We're realistically looking at the units to be in the United States mid-year 2017. But as we're talking about this battery storage unit, we're also going to be offering 2 other units. The 2 other units I speak of are just a regular Smartflower unit, which is going to be an interconnectable unit straight to the grid without any type of battery backup. Or another option we have is a POP-E, what they call electric vehicle unit. The Smartflower looks exactly the same, but the only difference is there's internal components are configured differently, and there's a plug to plug in electrical vehicles and also electric bicycles if necessary.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's really important too, because you know people think they're doing really well by driving electric cars around here, but if you're plugging into HECO's, you know, dirty grid, you're not really very clean. You're still burning fossil fuel, just like worse than a car, in fact.
That's right.
So, but if you have one of your units and you can plug in your driveway with one of these units, now you're getting clean power.
Now you're clean.
In your car.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
So those folks that haven't got the PV on the roof yet because of interconnect issues or whatever, they could take your unit, put it out in their near their house in front of their driveway or whatever, and plug their car in,
Yes,
and
sir.
then have a real clean car. Well, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's good. So we got the battery storage, we got the tracking. Do you guys have capacitors or anything that take up surges, or it's all batteries? Pretty much just batteries?
Everything, yes.
Okay. Because some of the things that we talk about, especially you see in the background here, is Blue Planet over on the Big Island. And some of their systems, they're looking at capacitors to take up shock loads and things like that and react really quick. But if you have good batteries, good battery design. And
Right now, we're looking at using lithium iron phosphate batteries by a company called Victron Energy. That's the same inverter that we have at the moment for the fully off-grid system. For the interconnectable version and the electrical vehicle version, we're looking at different options which will be compatible with both Hawaii and California standards, being we have this one of the strictest utilities in the nation. So instead of focusing on inverters, which will be needed for every different state, why don't we focus on the 2 hardest states in the nation, and whatever is acceptable of those 2 utilities, let's go ahead and mass produce those.
So then you're already in discussions with HECO.
They are in, no, we have the advanced inverter requirements
Okay.
and rules and the inverter list that HECO accepts. And we're going to look at those inverters which would be best suited to match with our product.
Okay.
Then we go in there and tailor the internal configurations to match that inverter.
Okay, that makes sense. Great. So when you start up here, when you anticipate maybe having your first products out available for sale sometime? I mean, roughly. I don't
For
know.
sale, maybe March, we should be taking sales. The units be delivered May to June. I have the only unit in the state of Hawaii right now mounted on a trailer, so we're able to do mobile showings for interested viewers. We can go to unique locations, set it up, open it, show people production, let them plug things in, show them monitoring, what it's using, how much amps, how much watts, how much is production's going at the moment. We can turn it away from the sun to show them how much that changes the productivity when it's not perpendicular to the sun.
So I know that's another good point of your unit is that it's mobile. I mean, you could mount it on a trailer, but even if you put it on your property and set it, you can actually still pick it up and move it if you care to.
I like a traditional rooftop system. If you are a renter, you can't take that with you. So in this case, if your yard permits, if you have available space, you purchase a Smartflower, you say you rented this home for 2 years. At that time, your lease is terminated. Okay, I need to look for another place. There's 4 mounting bolts that mount the Smartflower to the ground and 2 wires from the inverter. And we take that off, which can be done in 1 hour, and you're on your way moving to your next location with your Smartflower in tow, producing clean energy.
Well, John, and I think what we're going to do is take a quick break here, and when we come back, maybe we'll let you see this thing.
Aloha! I'm Chantal Seville, host of the Savvy Chick Show on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I'm going on tour. I'm taking you around the world. We're going to Canada, and then we're going to, well, we're in America, then we're going to San Francisco. So keep staying tuned, 11 a.m. every Wednesday on the Savvy Chick Show. We'll see you next time.
Good afternoon, Howard Wig, Code Green, ThinkTechHawaii.com. I appear on Mondays at 3 o'clock, and my gig is energy efficiency, doing more with less. It's the most cost-effective way that we in Hawaii are going to achieve 100% clean energy by the year 2045. I look forward to being with you. Aloha.
Hey, welcome back to my lunch hour. Stan, the Energy Man here with Van and John McEnroe, the famous tennis player, to talk about their unique product that we're going to show a video on. Yeah, we'll let you see it. It's a really cool product. So Zuri, hit the video and we'll let everybody in to see what this thing looks like.
The Smartflower is the future of solar energy. There's never been anything like this. This is the world's first all-in-one solar system in the United States of America. All-in-one battery storage, photovoltaic system, plug and play, 1 hour to hook up. It is the most revolutionary product that has ever come out. The Smartflower is 40% more efficient than a typical rooftop system. GPS tracking on the panels tracks the sun from any place in the world, putting your solar panels perpendicular to the sun. So as the sun moves, so does your panels. The battery storage is another great feature. It can produce, it puts out a lot of power. It can create enough battery storage for a normal single family home to carry the load and to carry it through the whole day. What I love about this system is that you can take it and move it. It's made for renters. You can relocate it if you want. If you put a rooftop system on your roof, you can't take it with you. You can take the Smartflower wherever you go. It has real-time display of what you are doing in your house, how much batteries you are using, as well as how much your PV panels are producing. I can check it on my home computer, my tablet, or my mobile device. Real-time display wherever you are. By using the Smartflower, we are reducing our carbon footprint. We are helping save the planet. We are helping going green and being good stewards of our environment. It is what every homeowner is looking for when it comes to off-grid supply. It is the future of solar.
Pretty slick.
Why, thank you.
That's what made everybody wait. I wanted to build a suspense for that.
Anticipation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's really, it's actually a beautiful unit, great footage too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a nice piece of work.
It's very aesthetically pleasing when you see it in person.
Yeah, especially in Hawaii, it fits. It almost
Yes.
looks like a
Yes.
palm tree sort of.
One
Yeah.
great thing about the unit, we can color match it to any color on the REL spectrum. We have 8 basic colors at the moment, but realistically, we can color match it to your business or your home or anything that you want. So,
Cool. Yeah, because I know there's some folks out there that especially with your car charging model,
yes, sir.
that they're looking at how do we get car chargers in like a condominium. And, so here's the scenario. You have condominiums and buildings that were built 25, 30 years ago, and electrical service to the building isn't enough. I mean, we've added dishwashers and video machines and computers and disposals that weren't around 30 years ago, and now all that draw is maxing out the service to the building. And to put in a new transformers, maybe 100,000, 150,000, $250,000 for some of the big buildings. But if you only needed like 5 or 6 more stalls, you put one of these out and the charger unit to the cars. And then the people that own the cars, if they move, they can take it with them, right?
True.
Yeah.
So, and you wouldn't need to reconfigure the condominium building and association. I mean, can you imagine being in a 100-person condominium association and 5 people have charged, electric cars, but you're going to charge everybody in the thing to put in a new service?
Very true.
That's not going to go well with the community associations.
I've actually did jobs like that,
Yeah.
where we had to go and research the grid, research how much power the building has, and they can't put a charger on their brand new Mercedes because
Not enough
Not
enough Jews going to the building.
Yeah.
So this is a solution. So you're actually coming up with a solution that is actually pretty prevalent here in Hawaii. I mean, I hear that as one of the biggest complaints of the multi-dwelling buildings.
Being we have that goal of renewable energy, 100% renewable energy by 2045, if everyone is able to get on board with renewable energy, not only with our Smartflower product, but any wind or geothermal, hydroelectric, anything, we're going to take the combination of all of us in the state working together to achieve that goal realistically.
You're right. It's an all of the above solution.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So if everyone is able to become educated, as what our goal is, to educate people, I think it'll be an easier transition for us and everyone throughout the state to reach
Great.
that goal of 100% renewable energy by 2045.
And your unit, like you say, you can connect to the grid, but you don't need to.
Right now,
Yeah.
in every other place, they're connected to the grid, but because of the strict interconnection rules and standard created by HECO, we're not able to just interconnect with this inverter that we have in the unit right now. So what we're doing is looking at options of inverters that's on HECO's advanced inverter list, which are compatible with our product, put them in, change the computer settings, and move from there.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. But just, you've got the options. The big point is you got flexibility.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
can,
sir.
like at the car chargers especially, because if you don't have to have an interconnect, you can put it where you need it. You can put it in a big parking lot where you have maybe some green space between stalls.
Yes, sir.
And just put it right there. And it could even be shade for the parking.
Now, every stall in Hawaii, over 100 stalls?
Every
Need to
parking
have
lot with over.
at least one electric charging
Yeah.
station. So there's opportunity throughout the state with this product, not only for the off-grid, fully off-grid solution, but the other two as well. So we're very interested in bringing this to Hawaii and excited to be
Yeah.
a part of this and be the first dealers in the US and have exclusivity in Hawaii. We're
Well,
looking to move forward.
Hopefully
positively.
some of the folks watching the show run businesses.
Yeah, we're
And-
looking for sub-dealers throughout the state, that you mentioned that. So we have different islands throughout the state, and we're looking for sub-dealers on every island to get involved and be sub-dealers and resellers of the Smartflower product.
Great, because that's more jobs and better for me.
Yes.
And DBID, my boss will take note and I get credit for it for him.
There you go.
Helping you advertise. But anyway,
We're helping
but
to
I
reach
mean,
our goal.
really in the daytime is where you've got the solar, but you're at work, put the charger where your car is. You know, and if a lot of the businesses here realize that more of their employees have electric cars and they could charge in their parking lots while they're working and put these units out where their people are working, then you maximize your potential there for your unit. So
sir.
maybe we get some of the businesses to, I don't want to say subsidize, but maybe go in with their employees and say, hey, we'll help you buy this unit for your thing because we're helping clean up the environment as well.
Clean up the environment, reducing their electrical consumption, the carbon footprint,
Great,
helping to be good stewards of the environment.
terrific. So have you been to Austria?
I have. Actually, Van and I are the first two people in the United States trained by the Austrian company. There's only us two and my wife, who's the three people right now trained in the United States to actually commission and work on the Smartflower products.
So you're telling me it's simple?
It's, of course,
I know Van can handle it. I was just wondering about you.
it's great.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we look very forward to moving in with
Yes.
this in the
Oh,
state of
man,
Hawaii.
we look
It's
really-
exciting. The
we look forward to
anticipation,
it.
This 2 years working up to this point has been a lot of hard work and headache, but in the long run, it'll pay off dividends for all of us within the state.
I think so. I mean, you mentioned it early on, we always think about the folks coming after us, our kids, our grandkids, and trying to leave them a better place, not leave them with a bunch of dirty water and dirty air and, rubbish and stuff. And, everything, it takes everybody. It takes everybody pulling together, just like in a canoe, right? You pull together, the boat goes forward faster, you start playing around and you don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So this is one of those solutions. That's one of the paddle places, and hydrogen cars is another one, and electric cars is another one, and battery electric, and more solar on people's roofs, and big commercial solar.
If people
It's
are
gonna take
unaware of
everything.
what is happening with global warming, I just watched a good show about a week ago. It's called Before the Flood with Leonardo DiCaprio. Amazing what they've done with that to showcase what us as humans and mankind are doing to destroy our planet.
Yeah, the
It's a real eye-opener.
CEO of Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation was actually on this show about a month and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea. He wrote a book that I read that I thought was really great called, Lives Per Gallon. And so I get him on the show and we're talking about the book, and then I looked at his signature block on his emails, and it's Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. And he told me that movie was coming out. I haven't seen it yet.
You need to
But I've
see
seen
it.
some of the trailers on TV and stuff. It looks like a great film.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Real eye-opener for those unaware of what's happening right
Yeah.
now.
Well, and the Earth has gone through a lot of changes. And I'm certain that what human beings are doing right now is contributing to the climate changing. I mean, it's pretty hard to avoid that connection.
Yes.
But even if it didn't, even if that had nothing to do with climate change, the fact that we're throwing pollution into the air and into and around Hawaii, it goes in the water eventually. You just shouldn't be doing it. So
Not at
why
all.
are we doing it?
Yeah.
So whether you believe that it's man-caused climate change or not, just quit arguing about it. We shouldn't be doing stuff. Like I said this on the show before, and actually my staff starts laughing at me. I go, if you wouldn't wrap your lips around the tailpipe of your car and breathe it, then why are we putting it out in the air? And that's just the bottom line. It's not good, it's not right, so we shouldn't be doing it. So this is a great tool in the tool bag for getting a clean, green Hawaii, and I think it's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing this thing when it's in here live. And we're showing the other video that you brought with us. It doesn't have any sound with it, so we're gonna talk over it, but it shows your product once again, and it is aesthetically a really slick looking, beautiful piece that fit in Hawaii really well. And like I said, it provides shade for your car too if you happen to have a parking stall that's oriented the right way and a place.
You know, one thing that we never really talked about is the all-in-one plug and play, and how you can just plug it into your home, and also how it has a UPS backup system already built into it.
Sure.
So you know, you're gonna always have power on certain devices that you choose to have power, like your refrigerator or your computer or your garage door. You can have that active and live all the time.
Great.
It has a built-in UPS.
Another bonus.
Oh yeah.
So when these things start hitting Hawaii, you're gonna come back on the show and tell us about it and maybe show
Sure.
us a film. Okay.
Hopefully we'll have the electric vehicle version and everything in stock at that time. We can go over each individual unit and go from there.
Terrific. Well, thanks for being on with us
Thank
today.
you very much, Stan, for your time.
Right on.
Appreciate
Thank you
inviting
so
us
much
to your
for
show.
And
having
thanks
us on your
thanks-
show.
Well, thank you, and thanks to everyone for watching tonight. Appreciate it. And we'll see you here next Friday. And share my lunch hour with me. We'll talk energy. Aloha.